Reporting for Jacksonville.com from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati after the Jaguars sustained another disheartening loss to a season that is quickly going south on them, losing 21-19 today to the previously winless Cincinnati Bengals. This is Gene Frenette from the Florida Times-Union, along with Jaguars beat writer Vito Stellino. The Jaguars, again today, same trend that has been dogging this team all season. A slow start, trying to catch up and get back in the game, catch up a little bit, but again, they fall short at the end. And Vito, with this team 3-5, is certainly starting to look like the Super Bowl contending team that we saw, or we thought we saw, in the spring and OTAs and in training camp is something much less than that. And you have to question whether the Jaguars are going to be able to get it back.
Well, to steal a line from Vic Ketchman on Jaguars.com, we thought this was supposed to be the Jaguars' year. It may have been that last year was their year, and that was their opportunity, and they could only win one playoff game out of it. There's another old saying, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. They did not get better in the offseason, and that's critical. Derek Harvey finally got a sack, although Mike Peterson probably made the play on it. Jerry Porter didn't catch a couple balls, but the 2-point conversion, the slant to him, he didn't come up with a catch. Now, granted, he was covered well, and the coach said maybe Garrard could have gone the other way, but he didn't make the play, and that's the story of the Jaguars season. They're not making the plays, and they're not running the ball, and they're not stopping to run, and that's a formula for disaster.
Today, the Jaguars allowed yet another pedestrian NFL running back in Cedric Benson, and the Bengals had their first 100-yard rusher of the season against the Jaguars. And once again, the Jaguars not able to run the ball. Fred Taylor's been on a quest to try to get to 11,000 yards for what seems like a month now. And he gets only 12 yards today. Maurice Jones-Drew, 32 yards. The Jaguars have simply almost gotten to the point where they've resigned themselves practically to thinking that they can't run the ball. So they're relying on David Garrard to do it all. And today, Garrard was able to move the team a little bit better in the second half. Only 86 yards in total offense in the first half, mainly because the Bengals ate up the clock on their first two touchdown drives. Bengals, not one touchdown in the entire season in the first quarter, but naturally they picked today to do it for the first time. And then the second time they had the ball, they drove the ball down there again. And Jack Del Rio said afterwards, Vito, that he doesn't question the team's effort. Well, if you can't question the team's effort, then you certainly have to question whether these guys are good enough to be a playoff team.
I think that's the real problem. They just don't have enough playmakers. The team last year, it's a year older. They didn't get any help in the offseason. And some of these coaching moves, they talked all week about getting the surge, running the ball. They opened the game passing. The first series, they threw the ball. They went for the home run on the first play to Troy Williamson. The Bengal defender made a very good play on it, knocked it away. But they kept throwing in the first series. Well, they gave up on the run before the game started. Against a team that ranked 28th in run defense. It's like they no longer have any confidence that they can run the ball.
And the Jaguars, to be brutally honest, probably didn't even deserve to have a chance to win at the end as badly as they were playing over the course of this game. But special teams, which has been the most consistent and best unit for this team, did provide them that opportunity. Chad Nkang put a brutal hit on Glenn Holt, forced the fumble off the kick return, and one of their other really good special teams players, Montel Owens, picked it up, took it in for a score, and all of a sudden you kind of felt, okay, the bench is energized, the team is energized, they've got the momentum, but again, they couldn't do anything with it. Twice they got down near the goal line. They had a first and goal one time at the 3-yard line, had to settle for a field goal there, and they tried to go to Jerry Porter on third down there too. And Jack Del Rio said afterwards he questioned not going to Matt Jones on that 2-point conversion, but according to David Garrard, the play called wasn't really designed to favor going to Matt Jones, because the guy that was covering him had him blanketed on the inside, forcing him out. So that's why he went to Porter. Well, if that's the case, then maybe change the play or have Jones go on the opposite side. But it just seems like whatever the Jaguars do in pressure clutch situations, they can't seem to push the right button.
Yeah, that goes back to the offseason they had. Why was Jerry Porter even in the game on that play? What had he done all year to make you think that he's going to make the catch that's going to tie the game? But it's easy not to play calling. If it's players, not plays. If the players can't make the plays, you're in big trouble. And I think this team is now looking at a rebuilding program.
We're at the halfway point of the season. The Jaguars are 3-5. Many of us assumed during the course of playing what we thought were going to be 3 gimme putts for the Jaguars, the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Detroit Lions next week would allow the Jaguars to build momentum and get to 6-3. Well, they failed the first 2 tests. Jack Del Rio said it this week when he was talking about what they need to do as a team. He used the analogy of a golfer, left edge firm. Well, the Jaguars came here and they had a chance to get something close to a gimme putt. Instead, what they end up doing is giving up a lot of yardage, giving too many big plays to the Bengals, and they end up losing a game that really, if this team doesn't hold it together, could really end up having a second half of the season that could be much longer than the first half. Reporting from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, this is Gene Frenette and Vito Stellino for Jacksonville.com.